The power of decision. One choice can change everything. You stand at a moment of truth where all the noise dims and a single question echoes in your mind. Will this be the day I decide or the day I drift? That is the crossroads of destiny. One choice, one moment, one decision. That single act holds the power to alter your life forever. Napoleon Hill taught us this simple, unyielding truth. The man of decision cannot be stopped. The man of indecision cannot be started. And men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. Men who fail reach decisions very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. AZ quotes +1. Decision is not just a step, it's a lever that tilts your entire trajectory. Consider Edison. Surrounded by darkness and failure after thousands of filament attempts, he didn't pause to doubt. He decided, I will find a solution or I will die trying. That decision birthed the light bulb, the day stretching toward every night thereafter. Think of Abraham Lincoln, defeated in business, riddled with depression, mocked for his appearance. Instead of succumbing, he decided in quiet resolve to pursue unity. That choice became a determination that saved a nation. When you decide, the universe aligns. Forces you couldn't control, circumstance, fortune, allies shift in ways invisible until momentum takes over. Decision is the ignition. Behind every decision is a mind conditioned to act or conditioned to drift. Modern psychology calls this decisiveness, not impulsivity, but clarity under pressure. Research shows decisive people experience higher levels of hope because deciding activates belief in possible pathways to success. MDPI, even with average intelligence, the ability to act with intention, as Angela Duckworth's Grit research shows, is a stronger predictor of ultimate success than talent alone. Medium +10 pen today, UPenn. Edu +10, Reddit +10. Grit and self-control anchor decisions. But there's more. IQ also contributes to making realistic decisions. A study from the University of Bath found that individuals with higher IQ form more accurate forecasts, Reddit University of Bath. When you combine clarity, decisiveness, resilience, grit, and the cognitive capacity to analyze risk, you don't just make decisions, you make impactful ones. Trust yourself, because every decision is a contract with your future self. I choose this because I believe. Hill adds, put your foot upon the neck of the fear of criticism by reaching a decision not to worry about what other people think. James Whitaker Plus, 6davidthd.com, +6 Pinterest Plus, 6 Goodreads +1, fear alone keeps. More dreams buried than outright failure ever could. A single confident choice kills the fear's suffocating hold. Modern neuroscience confirms what Hill understood intuitively. Decision-making walks a path through Daniel Kahneman's System 1 intuition and System 2 analysis thinking. Too much reliance on automatic judgments leads to overconfidence. Too much analysis leads to paralysis. The wise decision maker finds equilibrium and acts. When decision aligns with self-efficacy, our psychological belief that we can execute actions to achieve outcomes, you don't just decide, you commit. You stand firm under resistance. You act even when fear begs for retreat. Defining the decision is step one. Clarity is decision's power supply. Hill's definiteness of purpose reminds us no one may achieve success without first knowing precisely what he wants. When your mind knows exactly where you're headed, every moment of hesitation becomes a spark that ignites action. Decision without clarity is like firing an arrow blindfolded. You need a target. You need vision. When J.K. Rowling decided to persevere, she wasn't thinking successful author someday. She thought, I will finish the manuscript that will transform a generation. That specificity gave her decision strength. Every rejection letter became data, not damage, for her next move. Once decision is made, the journey begins. Discipline transforms decision into reality. Every sunrise brings a test. Do you follow through on your decision or chase comfort? Durham studies in self-control show sustained discipline compounds into performance that outstrips raw ability. Intelligence gives potential, discipline converts it. And with discipline comes momentum. One decision becomes many decisions, and soon the movement is unstoppable. Edison's experiments gained cadence. Lincoln's speeches found audience. Ford's factories hummed. Disney's animations charmed. Every act reinforced the one that gave birth to the movement, he decided. But sometimes you need to change. Decision doesn't mean rigidity. Adaptability keeps the goal in view when the path changes. The confident decision maker doesn't bail on the goal when turbulence hits, they shift course, all while holding the vision. That's the difference between quitting and recalibrating. There's also purpose, a greater why, that gives every decision weight beyond itself. Purpose infuses decision with meaning. It transforms routine effort into devotion. Without purpose, decisions feel hollow. With purpose, every sacrifice becomes sacred. Every setback becomes material for growth. When the final sunset falls and your story is told, no one remembers who started strong. They remember who finished. Legacy is the sum of decisions carried with faith, executed with discipline, sustained with purpose, until they ripple beyond your life. So decide now, what are you choosing today? What one decision will you make so clear, so firm, that it changes the course of your life? Will you who wavering wait for perfect clarity, or will you decide and let clarity sharpen itself through action? Your decision now is the fork in your story. Choose well. And when the world demands drift, you say, I decide. A single decision is never small. It may feel invisible at first, like a pebble tossed into a vast ocean. But ripples expand, touching shores you cannot yet see. That is why Napoleon Hill insisted that decision must be sharp, definite, unwavering. The timid mind makes half decisions, weak vows, empty promises. The decisive mind cuts through doubt like a blade, declaring, this is the path, this is the purpose, this is the destiny I will claim. Belief is the oxygen of decision. Without belief, decisions collapse under the first sign of difficulty. With belief, decisions endure, even when the ground shakes. Henry Ford believed when others mocked. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right, he declared. That was not just a clever phrase, it was a manifesto of decision. He decided to believe, and that belief turned into a car in every driveway. Abraham Lincoln believed in the possibility of unity, even when his own country was tearing itself apart. His decisions were not popular, they were not easy, but he stood firm because his belief was greater than the noise around him. His decision became his anchor, and that anchor saved a nation. Belief alone, however, is not enough. Decision demands clarity. A vague decision is no decision at all. To say I want to succeed is empty air. To say I will build a business that serves 1 million people by this date is power. Specificity sharpens decision into weapon. Modern psychology proves it. Goal specificity correlates directly with performance. The clearer the target, the higher the probability of hitting it. Clarity is the map that turns decision into destiny, and clarity feeds vision. Vision is the film you replay in your mind until it feels real. Edison saw light when the world still fumbled in darkness. Disney saw castles when the bank saw only bankruptcy. Oprah saw a platform when television executives told her she had no place on the screen. Vision is not fantasy, it is foresight. Vision is what keeps a decision alive in the wilderness of delay. But vision will die in comfort. Discipline is the daily companion of decision. Discipline wakes you at dawn when your body begs for sleep. Discipline keeps your hands moving when the applause is silent. Discipline ensures that your decision is not just a thought, but a routine, a rhythm, a relentless march. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success." Decision without discipline is like a seed without water. It dries before it sprouts. Consider Michael Jordan. His decision to become great was not proven in championships, but in empty gyms, in thousands of unseen shots. His discipline honored his decision long before the world cheered. Or Andrew Carnegie, who decided that poverty would not define him. He disciplined himself to learn under candlelight after grueling days in factories. His discipline compounded into steel empires. Yet even discipline needs allies. Adaptability ensures your decisions survive the storm. Life will change, markets will shift, plans will collapse. The indecisive mind quits when the plan breaks. The decisive mind recalibrates, shifts strategy, and keeps the purpose intact. Steve Jobs was forced out of Apple. His decision to keep building did not change. He adapted, built NXT and Pixar, and returned to Apple stronger. Adaptability does not betray decision, it protects it. But perhaps the greatest test of decision is resilience. Every decision worth making will be attacked by failure, rejection, criticism, and delay. Resilience is the armor. It is the vow that says, "I will hold this decision even when the world tries to rip it from my hands." Nelson Mandela decided that apartheid would not last. That decision held through 27 years of prison. His resilience transformed walls into preparation, silence into strength, captivity into clarity. Resilience turns decision into destiny. Gratitude keeps resilience alive. Gratitude whispers, "This struggle is shaping me. This delay is refining me. This hardship is preparing me." Oprah gave thanks for pain, seeing it as material for growth. Gratitude transforms decision from burden into blessing. Gratitude says, "I am grateful I can decide, grateful I can pursue, grateful I can endure." Gratitude fuels the courage to never reverse your decision, and learning sharpens every choice. The decisive mind is also the humble mind, willing to grow, to adapt, to adjust. Edison devoured scientific journals to refine his inventions. Lincoln studied relentlessly to sharpen his legal mind. Decision is not stubborn ignorance. Decision is stubborn commitment to the goal, coupled with flexible willingness to learn whatever is required. Purpose binds them all. Purpose gives your decision eternal fuel. Without purpose, discipline feels hollow. Resilience feels empty. Vision fades. With purpose, every sacrifice feels sacred. Gandhi's decision for nonviolence was sustained not by comfort, but by purpose. Martin Luther King Jr. His decision to dream of equality was sustained not by ease, but by purpose. Purpose ensures that your decision is not temporary, but timeless. Never forget, every giant leap begins with one decision. Carnegie decided that poverty was not his destiny. Edison decided that failure was not final. Lincoln decided that defeat was not permanent. Disney decided that bankruptcy was not the end. Jobs decided that exile was not death. Oprah decided that pain was not identity. Mandela decided that prison was not destiny. Each one could have quit. Each one could have surrendered. Each one could have drifted into mediocrity. But their decisions held, and their decisions changed the world. So look within yourself now. What decision have you avoided? What choice have you delayed? What purpose have you postponed? What clarity have you denied yourself because fear whispered louder than faith? Understand this, indecision is itself a decision to surrender your future, to drift. And drift is death to destiny. This is the power of decision. One choice can change everything. Not someday, not later. Now, when you decide with clarity, with vision, with discipline, with resilience, with purpose, you ignite forces far beyond your comprehension. Doors open, allies appear, strength multiplies. The world itself bends toward your decision. So decide. Decide who you will be. Decide what you will pursue. Decide that nothing will stop you. Decide now and never look back. Because one choice made with conviction can change everything. Every decision carries a clock. Time does not wait for the hesitant. Napoleon Hill warned us, do not wait. The time will never be just right. The graveyards of the world are filled with men and women who were waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect resources, the perfect permission. But perfection never arrived. Delay is the assassin of destiny. Urgency is the antidote. Urgency is not panic, it is purpose on fire. It is the realization that life is brief, that days are numbered, that the future belongs to those who act now. When Colonel Sanders lost his restaurant at 65, he could have surrendered. Instead, urgency drove him from door to door, recipe in hand, rejected over 1,000 times before his decision bore fruit. His urgency transformed his twilight years into a global empire. Every decisive person understands this truth. Hesitation costs more than mistakes. Mistakes can be corrected. Hesitation can only be regretted. The moment you decide, act. Do not negotiate with fear. Do not bargain with comfort. Act. And when you act, momentum begins. Momentum is decision multiplied by motion. At first, progress feels invisible. The gym feels empty. The business grows slow. The manuscript sits unread. But step by step, choice by choice, motion compounds. Like a wheel rolling downhill, momentum transforms effort into energy, resistance into rhythm, struggle into flow. Think of Edison's 10,000 experiments, each one small and unimpressive on its own. But strung together, they built momentum that produced light. Think of Ford's factory lines, slow at first, then surging with power until they revolutionized an industry. Momentum is the harvest of decision repeated daily. Faith sustains momentum when results are unseen. Applied faith, Hill called it not blind optimism, but belief. Backed by relentless action, faith says, I cannot yet see it, but I know it is coming. Faith builds bridges across valleys of doubt. Lincoln's faith held through years of failure before the presidency was his. Mandela's faith held through 27 years of captivity before freedom was his. Oprah's faith held through rejection before influence was hers. Faith is not waiting, it is walking in darkness with conviction that light exists. And faith demands action. Too many confuse decision with daydreaming. They speak boldly, but act timidly. They write goals, but never move. They imagine greatness, but never execute. Action is the final seal on decision. Without action, decision is nothing more than wishful thinking. Steve Jobs acted after humiliation. J.K. Rowling acted after rejection. Michael Jordan acted after being cut from his team. Their actions, born from decisions, created momentum, fueled by faith, amplified by urgency. But action, repeated over years, births something greater legacy. Legacy is the echo of your decision after you are gone. Edison's decision to persist still lights the night. Ford's decision to innovate still drives our highways. Disney's decision to dream still animates childhood. Lincoln's decision to unite still steadies a nation. Mandela's decision to forgive still inspires the oppressed. Legacy is proof that decision outlives the decision maker. One choice today may ripple through centuries. One decision may ignite movements, heal nations, inspire generations. That is why your choices matter more than you realize. The decision you delay today may be the breakthrough someone else needs tomorrow. Never forget, every movement, every empire, every invention, every revolution was born from one decision. Carnegie decided poverty would not define him. Edison decided darkness would not limit mankind. Lincoln decided division would not destroy a nation. Gandhi decided violence would not be his weapon. Jobs decided technology would not remain stagnant. Malala decided silence would not be her fate. Decisions, just decisions, change the arc of human history. So what about you? What will your decision be? Will you drift with indecision, or will you ignite with urgency? Will you hesitate until opportunity withers, or will you act now and create opportunity? Will you settle for surviving, or decide to shape a legacy that endures? The power lies not in chance, not in fortune, not in destiny. It lies in decision, and decision lies in your hands. The most dangerous place to live is not in poverty, not in failure, not in struggle. The most dangerous place is indecision. Indecision is a silent thief. It steals your time, your courage, your destiny. One hesitation at a time. It whispers, wait, tomorrow, later. And by the time you look back, the life you could have lived has been buried in the graveyard of what-ifs. Decision is liberation. When you decide, you kill hesitation. When you decide, you silence fear. When you decide, you draw a line in the sand and declare, this is who I am. This is what I will do. This is what I will become. That single act transforms chaos into clarity, paralysis into power, wandering into direction. Napoleon Hill revealed it with blunt force. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. Why? Because the world bends to conviction. Doors open for those who knock without retreat. People rally behind those who walk without hesitation. The universe itself seems to conspire on behalf of those who have decided. But decision is not easy. Decision costs. When you choose one path, you kill 1,000 others. That is why so few ever decide. They fear loss more than they desire gain. They fear criticism more than they crave freedom. They fear discomfort more than they hunger for destiny. But greatness has always belonged to the few who dared to decide, pay the price, and never turn back. Think of Lincoln again. His decision for unity cost him sleepless nights, endless criticism, and ultimately his life. But his decision saved a nation. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., who decided to dream out loud, knowing the danger, yet refusing to stop. His decision carried a movement forward. Think of Malala, who decided education was worth risking death. That decision made her the voice of millions. Decisions shape destinies not because they are easy, but because they demand sacrifice. And it is in sacrifice that strength is revealed. So ask yourself, what have you postponed? What dream have you silenced? What purpose have you delayed because the decision felt too heavy? Understand this, waiting will not lighten the way. Only deciding will. The courage will not appear first. The clarity will not arrive first. The perfect timing will not show itself first. Courage, clarity, timing all come after the decision, not before. You may think one choice is small, but one choice can change everything. Carnegie's choice to keep learning turned a factory boy into an industrial titan. Edison's choice to keep trying turned darkness into light. Disney's choice to keep dreaming turned bankruptcy into wonder. Jobs' choice to keep building turned exile into revolution. Oprah's choice to keep believing turned pain into platform. Mandela's choice to keep forgiving turned prison into power. One choice, one decision, everything changed. And now it is your turn. Do not drift another day. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for applause. Decide now. Decide who you will become. Decide what you will create. Decide what you will endure. Decide what you will give. Decide that nothing, not fear, not failure, not criticism, not delay will rob you of your destiny. When history writes your name, let it say, this one decided, this one chose, this one never turned back. Let it say, they carved their future with the blade of decision. Let it say, because they decided, the world is brighter, freer, stronger. The power of decision is in your hands. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, decide, and the chains fall. Decide, and the road clears. Decide, and the impossible bows. Because one choice made with clarity, with conviction, with courage can change everything. So rise up, take a breath, look fear in the eye, and say it. Today I decide. Today I choose. Today I claim my destiny. And never turn back.